Welcome back. So my painting is still a little bit wet, but I'm gonna work with that as it's continuing to dry. And you might be thinking right now, and I might be thinking, well, what am I gonna paint? I have no idea. But that's a great place to be in the unknown. It's a beautiful metaphor for life because when we step into the unknown, very powerful things can happen. We're listening more, we're receiving more, we're in that flow state more, and we're just letting go of the outcome. We're letting go of judgment. We're letting whatever wants to flow through us. So I invite you to be into that unknown with me and to surrender to that process. So I don't really have a plan here. You're gonna see exactly what it feels like to go on a painting journey, what this means. So right now I have these water-soluble crayons. They're actually wax pastel, very important, water-soluble, so that I can mix and match and play around with acrylic paint. And in one of my previous videos, I talk about these in my materials video. So you can go back and look at that if you didn't see it. But here I can just start sort of making scribbles. And the painting is a little bit wet, so it's gonna move it around. And if I'm working with this on wet paint, I have to make sure to dry this off after so it doesn't dry up on there. So yeah, I just like to make a lot of scribbles because it gets really playful and I'm inviting in this playfulness. It's fun. And so there's gonna be a point where my painting's gonna look really messy and your painting's gonna look really messy, and I call that the messy middle. And there's no way around it, and it's okay. It's gonna be part of the process. It's part of our process in life. We won't go through the inner growth unless we walk through the messy middle. And if you want to just stay in the shallow water, that's okay. But you're not gonna get the growth that the real transformation goes when you work through the messy middle. And it's not just in the painting, it's in life. We know this, everybody knows this. So don't worry if yours is already even starting to look messy, that's okay. I wanna show you something that I love to do with my paintings when it's wet. I have paper towels. And so you see how the paper towels has these really cool markings and patterns? So I can press the paper towel right on there while it's wet. It's only gonna work if it's wet. And it's gonna pick up that pattern. And I do this and people are always like, whoa, how'd you get your pattern? And that's just really fun. So you can make marks with all types of stuff that you find around the house. So here I have a candle, one of those disposable candles. And so I'm gonna just use this as a circle to make these marks here. And that's just really fun to play around with different things. Any ways that you can make marks. Mark making is very fun. Oopsies. So again, I have no plan. I am just working through the unknown, just having fun, really exploring. And so now I'm gonna start adding more paint. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work with white. And I'm just going to really now tap into, I'm gonna take a deep breath in. I'm gonna just imagine this bridge for my mind and my heart because they talk about getting into the heart, but the thing is the mind is a very much part of us. So I can't get away from the mind. It's constantly flowing. But what I want to do is imagine this light flowing through my mind and my heart so they can work in a harmonious way together. So just do it with me right now. Take 3 deep breaths. And imagine this light flowing back and forth like a bridge. And one more deep breath in. And for me, a big part of my practice has been opening up the channels in between the energy centers. So if you're someone who uses the chakras as a system or different body parts, if you're someone who uses the spirot as a system, that's the Jewish Kabbalistic energy centers, the blueprint of all creation. It's very important to also focus on the pipelines, the bridges in between them. So now I'm gonna go in with a layer of white, and I have 2 kinds of whites on my palette right now. One is transparent and one is opaque. And just quickly, what does opaque and transparent mean? Well, opaque is when you put the paint down and you cannot see the layer underneath. You can't see through it. And transparent is when you could see through the layers underneath. So the layers underneath can shine through. So let's say you have a transparent color and you go over another color, it's gonna pick up that color underneath and they're gonna interact. So I'm gonna play around with like a spectrum from the brightest white to the most transparent white and see where that takes me. So at this point, you can work with any size brush. I'm gonna just work with a medium size brush. I'm gonna be jumping in between. And I'm just going to start flowing. And I have these circles. Looks like this is gonna turn into a Sphera painting. So this is where I really get to tap into what do I want my prayer to be part of this painting. See, maybe you wanna just continue, like if you have a lot of pent up emotions that you've been pushing down for many years, you might wanna just make this whole practice just about that and continuing to release in the body. But if you're feeling ready to use it as a prayer and decide like what do you want to call in, and it doesn't have to be like realistic or anything. It could just be totally this feeling of a prayer, like when you close your eyes, like how would you move with that prayer. So that's what we think about it, not necessarily like it can be realistic too, like there's no rules. That's the great thing about art, is there's absolutely no rules. We are unbreaking all the rules. And so if your painting is wet underneath, the white will pick up the colors underneath, which is like also very cool. And I'm just gonna build up like a whole layer of white. And I might even at this point want to mix white with one of the pre-existing colors that I had. I'm just having fun and flowing. And as you work more into layers, I want to show you something else that you could do that's really playful and fun, and it's called scratching away. And you can do this with the back of like a paintbrush, like or some sort of like skewer, and you can make scratches, they're just really fun. I like to like play around with as many marks that I can make. And also, what I do often in my paintings is I take a step back and look at it from a little farther away. It just gives me a new perspective. If I'm ever feeling stuck, remember, if you're feeling stuck, you can close your eyes again, you could breathe, you can turn your painting around and work on it upside down. You could step back. There's so many things that you can do. Those are just a few of many to help like get back into that flow state when you feel judgment coming in, because it's something that keeps coming back to us and we have to keep working through it and keep letting go of it and just become aware of those thoughts. Like, you're not gonna get away from them, but just be the observer of them and let them pass. So as I'm also adding these white layers, if it's feeling like my painting's still like a little bit wet and it keeps picking up the colors underneath, I'm gonna go ahead and just add a few more dark areas to this too, because we're building up the darks and the lights so at the same time. So I'm just gonna take some of that and add this. And by the way, if you're liking this video series so far, or any of my videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps me get my videos out to more people and share this beautiful work with the world. So like and subscribe. So now I'm working a little more opaque colors. And the opaque colors are really gonna help your painting pop. There's so many different ways to paint. Like sometimes I'm working with different techniques. So, and that's something that I teach in my painting courses online. So if it's something that you want to learn, like different techniques, you can definitely join a journey. This is sort of like a mini journey into that. But it's really important to understand the difference between opaque and transparent paint, and something that a lot of people don't really know when they're picking up a paint. And you can check like on it usually says on most brands, like the good brand, it says on it, it will say like, it will have for Amsterdam at least, a lot of them have these squares, and it will either be filled in. If it's filled in, it's opaque, and if it's not filled in, then it's empty. Then it's transparent. So for instance, here's a yellow and it's empty. So that means this is a transparent yellow. So it's really important to know what you're working with, because you might keep adding layers on and wondering, why is this not really showing up? But both of them have an effect that you're gonna wanna get at a certain time. So now I'm just gonna like switch off between these darker and lighter. After I build up these whites like pretty strong, I want to get like that spectrum of darker whites and lighter whites. And you're gonna see in future videos that I'm going to be doing some glazing over, and you'll see what that is. So keep watching if you want to find out why I'm doing these layers of white. This is actually, I blend a few different techniques together, but it comes from like a Venetian technique that a lot of visionary painters use. And it's the idea of alternating between white and color. And it really allows you, if you're a person like me who has a lot of different ideas flowing in your head, and you want to like paint them all at once or get them all out, this technique really helps you organize all these different ideas in a coherent way, and then you'll be able to like put them in layers rather than like all at once, and when you have it all at once, it's very flat. So that's what we're gonna go into here. So I'm just gonna make all these marks, and also you might want to switch around like different size brushes. Another white that I have that I'm gonna be using, this is called, and I talked about this in my video of my materials, but this is Golden brand, and it's high flow acrylics, and it comes out like super watery. Like you see that, and like how it drips. And this is a great fluid white. It lets you really move like really smoothly. Okay, and like first it comes out stronger, but the more water that I add, it's gonna, let's say I want to add more water, it's gonna come out more transparent. So the painting is still a little bit wet. So it depends if you're working, like where you're working. If you're working outside, your paint on your canvas is gonna dry much faster. And if it's winter, it's gonna dry much slower. It just matters like how hot the air is. So if it's picking up the color underneath, like, you know, that's great too. Which actually is creating a very cool effect. So I'm slowly building up, and you might even find that your layer underneath is like disappearing, and that's okay. It's part of the letting go. If there's certain areas that you really like, then, you know, maybe leave those areas.
I rise because I decide to rise. I elevate because I move intentionally. Every day I win because I never stop creating. Because I never accept defeat. Because I keep moving. Everything around me is proof of my power. My environment is my creation.
So as you can see, I filled up a lot of layer of white. I did add some areas of some darkers of the same colors I was working with. As you can see, what I did here, when I talked about that full spectrum, so this is what I mean by like some whites are much more brighter, and then if you could see over here, you know, that's more transparent and light. So I have a spectrum of what's happening there. And then I even went in, after it dried a little bit, you could go in with paint markers. And there, it has to be dry though. And there you can make like really tiny, see, I can make like these little dots, or I can sort of make some more detailed work. And in the next video, stick around, come back, because we're gonna be doing some glazes, and you're gonna see like, why did you do this whole layer of white? What does that really mean? So that's what we're about to find out. If you like this video and the videos before, please like and subscribe. Thank you.